In the depths of space, far beyond the glow of the stars and the limits of our understanding, lurks an indescribable terror that challenges everything we know. Alien, the eighth passenger, not only confronts us with the external horror of an unknown and deadly creature, but also plunges us into a much darker and more disturbing abyss, the terror of the unknown that dwells within ourselves. Imagine for a moment that this terror does not stalk from the shadows of space, but from within your very being. An alien parasite that resides at the core of your existence, feeding on your deepest fears. Alien is a 1979 film directed by Ridley Scott and written by Dan O'Bannon. It was produced by Walter Hill. Characterized by its stark and alienating production design, along with the charismatic presence of the iconic enemy beast, Ridley Scott skillfully orchestrates a classic battle of beauty against the beast. Lieutenant Ripley, portrayed by the brilliant Sigourney Weaver, who rose to stardom through this role, stands at the center of this confrontation. Through this dynamic, Scott reached a pinnacle in his directorial career. The movie narrates the story of the crew of the Nostromo, a commercial spacecraft that receives a distress call from an uninhabited planet. Upon arrival, they discover what appears to be an abandoned ship. However, a highly aggressive alien manages to impregnate one of the crew members and infiltrates their ship. Led by Ripley, the crew must find a way to destroy or expel the alien before it manages to kill them all. The genesis of the film arose from Dan O'Bannon's dissatisfaction with the horror movies he had previously written. These were B-grade films with very low budgets and featured monsters so ludicrous that in one film, the monster was a beach ball. Can you believe that? A beach ball? O'Bannon wanted to create an alien that looked as realistic as possible and began writing a screenplay titled Memory about a crew that received a distress signal. Upon landing on the planet, their ship malfunctions and they have to face an unknown menace. It was a solid premise, but he hadn't thought of what this menace would be like. It was around that time that O'Bannon came into contact with the work of the surrealistic artist H.R. Giger. His drawings and sculptures deeply disturbed O'Bannon, especially his work Necronomicon 4th. Thus, he decided to write a new screenplay based on a monster envisioned by Giger. A few months later, O'Bannon sought help from his friend Ronald Shusett because he was stuck with the screenplay. The working title for the film was Beast of the Stars, but it was later changed to Alien, inspired by how frequently the word appeared in the script. The two friends were unsure how to introduce the creature onto the ship until someone from the set suggested that the alien was one of the crew members. This disturbing idea led to the development of the various stages of the alien's life cycle, inspired by insect-like characteristics. For example, the fact that the alien needed another living being to carry its offspring, and that this offspring would kill its host once mature, was a reproductive method specifically designed to unsettle the male audience. The screenwriters aimed to suggest a form of assault that resulted in pregnancy, as they wanted to avoid the common trope in horror films where a woman is the easy victim. Initially, the script did not seem appropriate, and moreover, the creators wanted to ensure that the male audience felt utterly uneasy as they were finalizing the script. The two friends pitched it to various studios, marketing it as Jaws in Space. They almost sealed a deal with Roger Corman's production company, but then a friend introduced the script to David Geller and Walter Hill, who had a subsidiary production company with Fox. The screenwriters signed the contract, but Gill and Giger were not entirely pleased with the project and decided to make some revisions to the script, particularly to the character of Ash, whom they transformed into an android that would act against the crew. They also made several changes to the dialogues, making them quicker and more fluid. Despite the adjustments, Fox was not entirely convinced about backing a science fiction movie. Fortunately, the release and tremendous success of Star Wars in 1977 radically changed their perspective. According to O'Bannon, they wanted at all costs to capitalize on the success of Star Wars, and quickly. The only space-themed script they had at that time was Alien. Thus, Alien was approved with an initial budget of $4 million. O'Bannon had always assumed he would direct, but Fox assigned the role to Walter Hill. Hill declined the offer as he was not comfortable with the project, and after considering many options, they decided to approach Ridley Scott. Impressed by his work on The Duelists, O'Bannon presented the project to Scott, emphasizing Richard Geiger's designs. Immediately, Scott had the movie's storyboards created, and the production company was so impressed by the final result that they decided to double the budget. Ridley Scott aimed to create a film that contrasted with the idealized vision of the future seen in Star Wars. The characters in Alien were going to be middle-aged and have realistic jobs, akin to space truckers. This was all in service of emphasizing the horror element throughout the film. The sets were complex to construct, as they aimed to give the ship a used industrial appearance. Geiger designed the sets to highlight the contrast between the human-made Nostromo and the organic, biological look of the aliens. The ship's name was chosen as a tribute to Joseph Conrad's novel of the same name. When it came to casting, the producers had considerable freedom, as the script allowed for the characters to be either female or male. The monster was one of the most crucial parts of the film. It was portrayed by Balaji Badejo, a very tall graphic designer whom one of the casting directors met in a bar. Badejo had to learn Tai Chi to control his movements within such a cumbersome suit. Nevertheless, the costume broke several times during filming. Alien was shot over 14 weeks at Shepperton Studios, near London. The film's schedule was shortened because Fox wanted to release it as soon as possible. Editing and post-production took about 20 weeks. Editor Terry Rawlings, along with director Ridley Scott, opted for a deliberately slow pace to gradually build suspense. The soundtrack was composed by Jerry Goldsmith. Scott originally wanted Isao Tamita because he was not very fond of Goldsmith's work on other films. Rumor has it that he made Goldsmith rewrite the original theme several times simply because he didn't like him. Finally, Alien premiered in the United States on May 25, 1979. The film was a commercial success, grossing nearly $80 million in the United States alone. However, the producer, 20th Century Fox, reported to the tax office that the film had incurred a loss of $2 million. Saving a larger part of the profit, that was a real dirty trick. Hey there! Thanks for watching. If you loved exploring the stories behind iconic movies with us, make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. We appreciate your support and can't wait to share more fascinating movie tales with you.